Welcome back to the LCS Challengers League. I am Mazel, joined by Beatdown and Smacks yet again for another halftime segment bit here. But before we get to that, we want to talk a little bit about the big takeaways from that first game of the series. Although they will be very much CLG sided, I think they came in with an attack plan against Chad in the early kind of marking of him, but then knew that they could find carries with Copy, Meech, and Breezy on their respective roles here, Smacks.
And on the side of Immortals here, we talked a lot about this bottom lane and how well they play with bot lane priority. It's very telling to me that Wixie still had a lot of pop-off moments in that game on Xayah, even though he was really far behind. But they didn't have lane pressure in that game, right? They had the enemy jungler in their lane, or at least on their side of the map for a good chunk of that one. And Lucian Nami, a little too powerful as a benchmark for trying new things in that bottom lane. So I would like to see some different stuff in that bot from Wixie, but from Meech and Breezy, I mean, those guys just they may have played the boring duo, but they played it just so well.
That was not boring to watch, I will say.
Yeah, I was gonna say
those mechanics were insane. But it's a nice little break from this this first game to see if IMT can kind of bounce back in game number 2. But until then, we have a halftime bit that you've set up for us, and I believe it's bot lane focus, Smacks.
Not quite a game show this time around, but I wanted to take some time to just talk about the off-meta supports that we've been seeing in North America. And so I've got a bit of a tier list that I've created just for this occasion. And before we get into the tier list, I wanted to touch on something real quick, and I've got some proof for you to just say how qualified I am to talk about this. So here's my OPGG.
Okay.
I have played some interesting support champions
God.
recently.
Whoa! Wait a second. What? I saw the support item and I was like, huh?
Yeah, I've got some wacky ones in here.
Got some explaining to do.
Yeah, you definitely have some explaining to do.
Yeah, we got some fun stuff in here. I like to have fun in the bottom lane. But yeah, I wanted to take a look at some of the things that our players have been piloting and bringing out for specific reasons, and just sort of give my takes on it.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, Belveth is better than all of these champions. Anyway,
What?
let's get right into it. We're gonna start at the end. I realized that I accidentally put Xerath instead of Annie in. I don't know how that happened, but just pretend that this is Annie. So. Annie's gonna go in the A tier.
This is
I think Annie's quite good.
Annie's A tier. Also, I like that there's like I think I see like a hidden vision of you inside of the box.
On those black lines, yeah.
I do,
that's
actually.
interesting.
It's kind of cool. I like it. But anyway,
I don't know how
sorry
that
to distract.
happened.
So that's
We'll call
Annie
it
in A. A for
I'm
A.
haunting
You're really
the tier
helping
list.
me. It's like putting the A name champion in the A tier. You're helping the play-by-plays everywhere, Smash.
It makes it less confusing that it's actually a big blue man made of electricity and not
absolutely
Annie.
less confusing for sure. His head kind of looks like an A.
Oh,
that's
a little
true.
bit. Yeah, just a little bit. For Annie, though, the thing's in her favor. One, she did just get buffed. Her E is a lot stronger, and her all-in threat is better because Tibbers is stronger now too. He's got a lot of movement speed. So I endorse Annie support. I think that's a good pick. Now, we've seen that from a few players now, by the way, and it even got banned in that last game. Vi. Vi's an interesting one. So Vi actually has not been played in this split so far, but this is a SkyTech classic. And so I figured it was important to put her on the list as an homage to SkyTech, who we will be seeing on the stream later today. Now, I love him a lot. I love that he's picking this champion. I am going to have to put it in the B tier, though. I think it's a little bit less good than some of these other ones. I like the all-in threat. It's very reliant on bush control, though. And as a melee champion, I think that's very difficult to come by. You don't have a lot of wave push. Yeah, especially now, because you can see the other supports on this list. It's kind of hard.
Max.
It's kind of hard to get in range of some of these guys. So I like Vi. I like the ultimate a lot. I'm going to put her a little bit lower. And you know what? I might even bump her down one more, just because if you're picking her support, you're not picking her jungle. And I think she's just very good jungle. So I actually am going to bump her down to C tier. I'm sorry, SkyTech. I love the vision. And you know what? Maybe you can pull it out and prove me wrong. He does win on this champion a lot for what it's worth. Now,
It's crazy.
Moving down the line, we have my personal favorite pick in the support right now.
Is it Jhin?
It is Varus. He's going in S tier.
Oh,
Now,
S tier.
Varus is the champion that I've been playing in support position that's off meta, that is the most fun of all of them.
Okay.
I've been calling him
Why?
Jobless Varus, unemployed Varus. That is what this champion is
That's
to me.
fun.
Yes, because
support
as
income.
AD carry, your normal job is to sit back, scale, and hit minions. And as Varus, that's just not fun. I just want to shoot my Q. I just want to shoot them with my arrows, Lennon.
The
And-
dopamine rush.
Not having that job, not having that 9 to 5, hitting those minions all the time, you know, just kicking back, enjoying life, shooting arrows at people, being jobless Varus. I love that.
ADCs
Varus,
everywhere.
Really
should
selling
be
me
a
on this. I'm
shame.
not gonna lie.
it's really fun. I highly recommend you
I'm
play.
gonna take the high horse as a tried and true ADC carry and say it's despicable. Your kind, your kind are despicable.
All right, well, we got a purist on the desk. I
Yeah,
suppose.
Yeah,
purist for
Trust
ADCs.
me.
Though it does hurt my eyes every time I see double ADC bot lane. I will say I've actually had a lot of fun watching it because it does lead to spicy bot lanes. But continue to
Yeah. Well, you're going to have fun with these next few then, because as you can see, we've got a lot of marksmen. Misfortune. Now, Joey was the one who pulled out the Misfortune support just last week. And, you know, that was really fun. I love it. This pick sucks. I hate
Thank
Misfortune.
you. Hey, I was gonna say we saw the LPL too, and it does not look great.
Yeah. I think this one's really bad. I don't understand it at all. I like some of these other ones have crowd control, like Varus Ultimate's really good. You got Jhin W, that's really good.
Are
Ash
we making
Ultimate.
sure that Kangas is watching this?
Kangas, if you're watching,
Because
Misfortune
my
support is
roommate
bad.
Kangas, our broadcast partner, loves to play support Misfortune AP. I'm just saying, Kangas, you should watch this tier list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't think Misfortune offers that much as support. But we've got 2 more marksmen. I'm going to do these back to back here as well. I think Jhin is an A tier, Callista in B tier. Now,
Okay.
the draw of these 2 champions, early game damage, a lot of range. The thing that separates Jhin from Callista is that W. W is just so good. Deadly Flourish, the snare from a very long distance away. And not only that, Jhin, his trap ability, the E, that's a real spell you can throw into the river. If Callista levels her Sentinel, you are griefing, because then you can't auto the wave, because then your passive takes it. So you never want to level W on Callista support. And that for that reason, she can stay in the B tier, but I do like Jhin.
All right.
Heimerdinger. Oh, what do you got to say about Jhin?
No, I was gonna say just let's see these last 3. Go ahead and
Yeah.
go ahead and knock 'em
So Heimerdinger, he's the guy that kind of started it all. I'm gonna put him in A. He's old reliable.
Okay.
I really
Reliable.
love the turrets, the zone control. He makes taking
and
dragons
Lucian.
very easily. Azir was a direct response to Heimerdinger, and I think he's too niche to play in any other situation. Very good into Heimerdinger, so I think he's better than Misfortune.
okay.
But into anything else, I don't think it's very good. And for Ashe, I mean,
Please
this
say
is
S
just
tier.
the best support.
Yeah. There you go.
I love Varus, but Ashe is the best support in the entire game.
Absolutely.
And it's undisputed. The vision control is crazy. The poke is ridiculous. The
It's
ultimate,
insane.
2 every minute. That champion is
not
amazing,
okay.
and I hope we see more of it, even though it's just so boring that I just want to turn off the stream. It's still kind of cool that she's a support champion.
I do want to ask you then, Smacks, especially coming into this matchup now and getting into draft soon. I want to see how far down the tier list do you think we're going here? Do you think we're gonna get the MF again? Do you think we're getting any fun?
I hope not. Well, let's leave the MF in week 4, okay?
Thank
let's
you.
move on. More
Move
other
on.
marksmen here, Joey. Let's pick the Varus, pick the Jhin.
Okay. We'll see. I love it so much. Thank you so much for that little insight of the bottom lane. But now we got to get to the nitty gritty of game 2 of our second series of the day. We got IMTC versus CLGC. So let's get to draft. Bid adieu to Smack. See you after the games or your interview, which I'm very much looking forward to. But we'll see. CLGC back on this blue side. We'll have the Varus ban for them, so that support pick is off the table, but I'm sure that's more towards Wixie's ADC position. But I'm very much seeing what IMTC want to change up from game 1 to game 2 now, beatdown.
Right, and I'm wondering as well, because the thing is, draft-wise, I thought what they were going for was okay. the problem just ended up being the early game where everything Kevy was trying to go for early on was working. I even said it with you guys before we got into the segment just now, that it was kind of funny that IMT put a lot of resources, wards to try and track Kevy, get an idea of where he is. But Kevy had Chad's number the entire time in the early game. And once we saw those early kills come through in favor of this Lucian Nami, I mean, Meech and Breezy, who are an excellent bot lane, were able to just continue snowballing that into a win. And of course, Kevy and Breezy, they just, linked up, held hands. Valentine's Day's over, but not for them. They just moved together all across the map to spread the joy of leads to all their teammates.
That's what it's all about, right? It's spreading the joy. It's not Christmas time, but we're feeling it here at least.
Christmas is every day if you're good enough.
Every day. There goes that Annie support, though, and that A tier. I'm not going to be picked up this time around, but it will just be the Maokai. Obviously picked up for Kevy. Looked so damn good on it in game number 1.
That's right. And no reason to pick this one again. What's the idea for Chad? We're going to see the Vi come through, a different AD carry matchup, the Zeri hover, the Zeri... Nope, it's just going to be the Xayah pickup this time. Maybe fearing it's going to get taken away. They're just going to grab it once more and maybe even just pair it with the Rakan.
I do wonder, though...
But talk to me, Mazel. What are you thinking? I want to know.
Because we have seen Chad lean over to some of the more aggressive picks. Obviously, his Rengar is a big one that we always talk about or go to. But I would be interested if he wants to go with something more aggressive, because he kind of got ran around the map in this last game. And I would like to see if he opts into something a little bit more aggressive. But I do like that Wixie and Joey be going to that Xayah Rakan. I want to see some of that come out for them, at least in terms of execution-wise. But that's the answer right there. It's going right back to what worked last game for CLGC, and it's the Lucian Nami. There's the Vi. So we're getting a salty run back here, it feels like.
I was going to say, we are basically at halfway a salty run back. We aren't quite there yet. The last couple of picks need to go through, of course, but we have seen that exact thing happen once before. It was FlyQuest Challengers who managed to not only salty run back, but actually win the game after like 55 minutes. We'll see if Immortals are going to be able to. Nope, the switch is already there. They said, Jenkins, get out of here. That Renekton was too much to deal with. Maybe the Syndra is another thing they look towards too, because Copy, I mean, everybody on CLG was popping off, but those Scatter of the Weeks were game-changing.
Yeah, I want to see what this last span's going to be. Do they try and focus maybe this Silas, where Balulu did have some pretty positive moments? I think he can still pull back. I mean, that pick is obviously so tried and true for him. But I think we could still get that focus. And maybe that's Zoe back again for the second time around. But I like the Scion ban as well. How much priority that pick has gained. And there's Balulu Zoe taking off the board beatdown.
Yeah, especially it's gotten more popular, and that's like ADD's signature champ as well. So even worse to be able to. I will say though,
Copy whipped it out. Copy had looked like the best Zoe, right? Balulu whipped it out actually against the Minez, and it looked great, right? But Copy had dissected team fights the last time we saw Zoe. So I like not getting to see either side, I guess, in this one. But it is that Ahri pickup for Balulu and a little bit of that mobility to try and help set up with Chad.
Yeah, so in a way, I kind of like this a little better than Silas. It's not like the big carry that we saw Balulu carry with in other series and other games in the past, but it's a very strong pairing with the Vi. You have a lot of opportunities to roam, and that mobility with the ultimate, the Spirit Rush, it lets you set up. Not only can you be more aggressive and set up some of these plays with that charm, you can get over terrain, you can set over fights in a lot of different ways. So I like the look here, and I like the switch up from Balulu.
We do see the Cassante at least picked up for Jenkins. Think it's good, but it is the LeBlanc as the answer into the Ahri here for Copy, and that's a bit of a confidence pick there.
That's interesting.
Going into it.
I like that one. I mean, Copy, I talked to him, and when I asked him how he felt about Balulu, he said he doesn't have much of an opinion. He says he's focused on his play, how he feels, because when he's confident, he says he can beat anybody who's in front of him. And, well, this matchup this matchup is a little Ahri favored, because if you're not in a minion wave, you can charm the distortion and things like that, and you're also very mobile. But who knows? Copy, you said it. Confidence pick, wants to lock this one in. Another way to cheat terrain, another way to fight a little differently. And that's what I'm hoping Copy is going to do. Don't just front to back. That's not your job. And I see other LeBlancs do it. I don't like that.
Well, I like that ADD picks up the Olaf here into the Cassante matchups. Gets this counter pick that's been rumored. We have seen it actually not work out sometimes. At least Bradley comes to mind, obviously. But I think seeing this matchup for ADD into Jenkins, that is a point where IMTC are actually going all in. It feels like they're doubling down on a lot of the stakes that are important for them in this series that we didn't get to see them kind of play through and towards in game number 1.
I think that's a great point. And it's true. Even once you see the Ari come through as well, that mobility, that all-in potential matched with the Olaf is definitely a more commitment to that identity that we saw from game 1. And this time things could go differently for them. And one thing I do want to know, because you mentioned Bradley couldn't quite make the Darius or the Olaf work, it's worth noting it was specifically into Jenkins' Cassante. He was not able to win the counter matchup, and Jenkins overcame him. So now it's ADD's turn to see if he can knock Jenkins down a peg.
We're getting into it now. Game 2 of CLGC versus IMTC gets underway. We do get a little bit of a level 1 stance here from IMT. As we do get into it, though, make sure you're spamming in chat who you think's going to take this win. IMTC for Immortals Challengers and CLGC for CLG Challengers. This might be a flash from Breezy, and it will be Ghost from ADD just to threaten it. It's about half health on Breezy, and so far so good for IMT.
That's something. That could very well impact this bottom lane. What we saw in game 1, Meech and Breezy were getting the better of some of those early trades, but now you see Wixie and Joey maybe clearing out just to see if someone's standing in the tri-brush and seeing maybe if the leash comes through. Oh my god, because they cleared it, they just don't know.
They really don't. They're going to try to catch out Breezy on the way back with no flash. This is so big. Oh, we're waiting in the bush for a catastrophe here. We're going to see as the Sharks are starting to circle. Nope, they back away. Thank you for the vision talk. Don't make us not baited. Now we're going to be the ones scared when they walk out of the lane. But it will be just an attempted move from IMT. But opposite side starts for both junglers here. It will be spotted out. I think he saw the if you were if he was watching, he would have seen the little guy, and now he would have absolutely. So good stuff from. I think the observer's saying no.
Yeah, because the thing is, whenever that happens, you see pings, and I didn't see any, so I actually think Immortals had not noticed, especially with you see the way the darkness kind of works. He was by the brush, so I'm pretty confident it's just another attempt.
Looking, you can see. But you have to be screen on, and obviously I don't think we got that. So now we want to see this kind of 3-camp clear from Kevy into this bot lane push. We're seeing Balulu actually taking heavy health trays in the mid lane, and I'm wondering, do we see Chad adapt this style, went for that at least chickens clear first, now down to the bot side to try and bolt down here and stop Kevy?
Very possible. We've seen a lot of junglers do that full bot side clear and then gank the bottom side of the map. I don't think that's what Chad's going for this time, but would be an option, especially with the information that Kevy was there and is no longer in the area. But instead, Kevy, he wants to invade, and you see that defensive ward coming through here, I think, from Chad. Just will give away that information.
And he did this last time, but this time it's not on the blue buff fight. It's just trying to hover around Balulu, maybe try to find a quick dive. His copy just has a giant wave under Balulu's tower. Heavy just gonna bounce back through this bottom side of the map, maybe find aggression onto Chad. It is literally a ping pong game right now between mid and bot lane.
And you can see it, Kevy, he's following him. He's marked him. But this time around, Kevy is actually walking away. Chad spent a lot of time, has not gone towards his top side of the map, knows Breezy doesn't have flash. There is a world where if he can get to that brush, there is a flash vault breaker available here to catch out Breezy. But
spotted out.
Nicely placed ward, they know.
Kevy gonna take his time doing the scuttle crab there. That ward spotting Chad out. They will still go for the play with the flash vault breaker. Won't get much out of it. And Breezy still didn't have flash, but didn't have to burn the heal or anything. And that means that now Kevy has access to the top side of the map. So that's a double scuttle.
Right, double scuttle. Maybe we see the invade, especially because the recall only just finished channeling. And you can see Kevy's just going to look for whatever he can take here. And it's looking like it's just going to be vision. And look at ADD too. Recognizes, okay, my jungler pretty far away right now. Needs to make sure some vision is down, so he knows well in advance that Kevy is on top of him. And I mean, looking topside too, ADD is getting that push early on. So far, if we look at health, Seems like he's playing the matchup quite solidly. The big thing to worry about for Jenkins is after this wave crash, because once it starts bouncing back, it's going to start heading to ADD's turret, and that's when Olaf gets to do what Olaf does best, run you down.
Oh, Wixie. Oh, Wixie. Getting a little bit low. The heal used both ways. As will be those summoner spells burn. Getting towards this this bot lane for some of those fireworks. As I do believe vision there is going to be the key thing. Thank you, observers. Now Meech and Breezy. I think there is that potential for the 2v2 fights and kills. As I think they're still in the bush there. Just getting that back off. And right now, although we saw the early aggression from Kevy in game number 1, we saw a little bit of that. Didn't get as much of an advantage. And now, bottom lane, I said we were looking for 2v2 advantages, and it's a trade. But first blood went to Wixie. Second kill went to Meech. And it's just a back and forth.
So it is that extra bit of gold going over to Wixie. Really nice play. And it's like Summer said when we were on game 1. Wixie, Joey, even when behind, trying to make things happen. And when they're even, like this point in the game, well, they were even. They will try to continue making things happen. And at least that extra 100 gold will numb the pain of the fact that Meech is up a little more than a wave so far in CS over Wixie.
I gotta talk about Wixie a little bit as well, right? And we had mentioned a little bit about his story last year, not finding that academy team that he wanted. All right, having had it felt like such good and solid performances with Busio, who is now in the LCS, on that 100 Thieves academy roster, and now with Joey, obviously the big centerpiece, I feel like, as support for IMT. It's been really cool to not only hear about, you know, their growth in game, but as well as the kind of synergy they've started to develop out of game. And that's where that confidence that we're seeing in these little plays back and forth from Wixie, that breeds that kind of confidence, right? As we are looking at this trade mid lane.
Yeah, that was really nice from Copy. Uses the Mimic to distortion again. Dodge out on the charm. And hey, Copy's just had Bolulu's number this whole lane phase. You can see it in the CS. You can see it in the health differences. It's Bolulu who came with the Ignite, but it's Copy who came here to fight. And that's important because it, again, like last game, gives Kevy all this space to go across the map, invade, and try to pressure Chad like he did in game 1. And it just seems like everyone on CLG working so well together to ensure they get these advantages. And now Chad,
bringing ADD down though.
He wants to fight.
ADD shows his face. They're gonna actually look like they commit for this dragon because of this. They're actually back coming out from ADD. No, he's gonna stop. He has TP. They can take this down, but look at bot lane. A little bit of back and forth again. Traded here as ADD still stopping his back. Charm connects onto Copy. Copy flashes. Bolulu chasing him down. Doesn't have any more of the Spirit Rush. ADD trying to get there. The sapling lands. ADD just spending a lot of time while a proxying topside Jenkins will find advantage up there.
And it's brutal. You can see ADD hasn't backed yet. So he has to back, spend the gold, get some stats. And then, he hasn't backed? What? He's still here. Oh, maybe, I think he got his back canceled. I think that's what it was. That's actually super brutal.
Saplings are dirty, man. That's all I'm going to say.
Maokai is a very fun and cool champion, Mazel. I promise.
Is it worse when he plays the soccer ball champion? Because then it's just like soccer balls running at you.
I
Which
don't know.
Maokai skin is the best for fear? Is it the kitty one? Is it Casper?
It is because, you know, there's always like the cats can scratch you. If cats are randomly
soccer balls
running.
hurt if they are like thrown at you, I guess.
But if you look at the speed of the ball, it doesn't give me that like feeling of high impact.
Grew arms and legs and started running at me, I think I'd be a little scared.
Okay. You know what? You got me there. I'm gonna give you that one. That would scare the hell out of me.
I think we'd both be in agreement in that one. As Ritterl though is started up by CLG Challengers, should be that the soccer ball.
Oh God, it has a face. I take it back. This is the worst skin.
It's terrifying, man. It's terrifying. And there's even like a haunted Maokai skin. I think the soccer ball is probably more terrifying. Yeah. But it looks like we're getting a trade right now on the map, which I think is really important. Oh, actually, Copy's movement means no way for IMT.
Yeah, I mean, Sheen and long swords, that's all cool for damage, but this LeBlanc with Sork Shoes will tear you to pieces, and there it is. I can't look at it. But overall, it's like you said, free objective for the side of CLG. Kevy has that. can drop it wherever he pleases, and something tells me bot lane is the answer that he's looking for, because Meech and Breezy have it. Oh, wait a minute. They have advantages already, but we got to fight.
That was,
okay. Jenkins?
Oh my God. That's a solo bolo for Jenkins, and he may not be on Warren, but he got that dog in him. As now it's IMT moving on to CLG and bot side, but it will be Kevy making it out. My God, that was a fight until it wasn't in top side.
Yeah, Cassante, very cool champion. And again, Jenkins gets the better of what's supposed to be an unfavorable matchup for this champion. It's just good work from the top side. Jenkins being that rock, and I think being a player who we're starting to talk about and highlight a little more, how last year we always saw him as a serviceable top laner, does his job, nothing remarkable. I think this year has been better for Jenkins, especially these last couple of weeks. He's looked a lot better, and he's been given performances like this.
Hey, and you get to hear from him as well. Last week we were talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, I mean, they don't want that Warwick, and he's been watching a lot of solo queue performances from, you know, Korean streamers and trying to find the one tricks, the things that really work, and he's been having a lot of fun with it, it feels like, at least from getting to hear from him. So I'm very excited for Jenkins' growth into another year, but now it's Meech. He can't get out of that cease and desist, and Kevy has to flash out of the pit, while Chad also had to return flashes. Summoner spells burn just to try to catch CLG, but it doesn't work out, and Wixie now has to burn his own flash.
I'm gonna be real, that was already worth, even with the flashes blown. The fact that Wixie got it, it's like extra double worth.
Balulu in a little bit of trouble. Chains connect. Jenkins going for it. Jenkins, he wants another. As he's chasing out Chad. He's just going at whoever sits next to him. He's first target. I fight. He wants Joey now, but he can't get it. And the ghost is fueling the rage of Jenkins, who has now left ADD in the top side and is just reaping the benefits of control around the rest of the map.
And he's doing what he's doing the same thing as ADD. He moves, uses lane advantages to try and affect other parts of the map, but Jenkins is the one making the kills happen. Jenkins is the one helping secure plates, objectives, and everything for the side of CLG this game. It's not as big a lead as we saw in game one. The CLG Challengers, Zell, they are still in control of this game, and now, even though the lead for Meech and Breezy was small, now they got those 2 kills, and I think we're going to see a repeat.
Kevy in a little bit of trouble here. Ragnarok does get popped, but here comes Jenkins as Ragnarok falls down. All out comes out. He's doing so much damage, but Jenkins getting lower and lower. He doesn't get the kill. Got him. And ADD helps Chad get the kill, but Chad left out to his lonesome at the end of it, and Copy picks up his own.
Man, it's just back and forth, but these trades are still favoring CLG. Every time you take something, you lose something. And when you're behind, that's usually okay. But this time, realistically, Vi getting kills, you know, it's okay. It's not a terrible thing. LeBlanc getting kills, Lennon. We like that. We are big fans of that.
Especially when you put Copy's name next to that LeBlanc as well.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of setup, at least, for CLG's carries here. 2-0 on Meech, 1-0 on Copy. And killing top for Jenkins as well. But it was off that back of a very, very good performance in game number 1 that gives me confidence they can close out these kinds of advantages very, very heavily. And I want to see, again, where IMTC's response is. They have not had that proactivity, but now they're sitting on a Gale Force or Wixie. They have a little bit of strength with the Divine Sunder completed for ADD, and I want to see them at least try to get Chad involved a little bit more.
And I want to take a look, actually, the goal differences, just to see where everybody is at, because Wixie did manage to pick up a kill and is caught up in CS as well. So this lead may not be as big as we were originally thinking, and Wixie's ability to keep up in this game is going to be very important, especially given everything else that's happened here. And that's why you see Chad back on the spot side, has the cease and desist. Yeah, not very tanky, but it doesn't matter, Mizel. It's once you lock someone down, especially if Bolulu is with you, you are Ari Charms, and someone's going down.
I think one thing I'm starting to see, though, is I guess this Pyro mid lane be really important, as it will just be Chad going all the way in on a Copy, but Balulu needs to run away. The spear rushes, Pop Jenkins hits that ghost, and he's got the gas. Can he deliver? ADD gets engaged on, but he hits the Ragnarok back. And
Oh,
Kevy
see ya!
gets taken out by the lightning of above.
And
Joey,
wait.
nice little dash from Meech, though. It's just that back and forth. The heal comes out. Bubble will not land. The feather call. The storm came out, and we get very close to the bottom side, but what matters is that kill that went over in the mid lane.
Right, and that's the danger of the Olaf. You got a couple of melee oh, hold on a second. Speaking of danger,
you wanted to get the angle with the all out. There it is. He's under tower now. ADD.
It's still Olaf, baby.
Down. And ADD asserts dominance.
And this is what we're talking about here. Jenkins feeling himself, but you still can't fight the Olaf, especially not with double buffs. And ADD, not only is he back in this game, but he is spearheading it. And part of what is allowing IMT to close this lead. First turret means this Olaf's a problem. Realistically, as copy, you have tools to get away, but other members on the side of CLG, if ADD gets going in a team fight, he will take you down.
Yeah, he absolutely will. The big thing here, though, is that Meech and Breezy are on their one-item spike together on the Lucian Nami. They can utilize this power point very, very heavily. And you already see they're trying to push in as much as they can. Kevy is already down here. Dragon is coming up. Could be a nice little bit for CLG to start stacking this one up. It looks like Kevy will not go that way and trying to deal with ADD on the top side of the map, as that should just be IMT being able to take that one, as ADD taking the Rift Herald by his lonesome.
So this is an interesting opportunity for ADD. Can still be that insane side lane threat. You can see the big purchase coming through here. Negatron Cloak and the Winged Moon Plate means he's getting close to what's probably going to be that Force of Nature. Wants that extra bit of MR and the move speed that comes with it as well, so that he can continue having the move speed to run people down in these team fights, and especially in the side lane. Because now with Herald, you let him push too far for too long, a turret's going to go down in the process. Maybe more.
Maybe even more. That's the big kicker here. As now that dragon does finally go, so we get the trade back and forth of those neutral objectives. I guess not traded, as MT actually came away with all of them. It will be that tower, though, going down finally in the mid lane. CLG getting a little bit of that gold back into that lead, but now with that mid lane going down for IMT, I would expect bot lane to be the renewed focus. Culling means that is so. Another couple pop shots, and Joey very, very low here with Kevy in the wings. Could be a recipe for disaster.
Right, they been given by his path. They probably saw him on the pink board, so he might be able to not get the drop on them. And especially important because chat is here. That Farsight was good because they know, and it means that they aren't gonna go for the all-in. They're gonna be satisfied with pushing this wave and walking away. But you can see topside and how far it's been pushed in because of ADD just being that constant threat topside. And now look at him. He's moved here onto this bottom side of the map because of how far he's been able to push the wave. And because of that Herald, if they aren't careful, Meech and Breezy are in a lot of trouble.
Oh, Meech. There is a hungry man with axes in the bushes waiting for you. And Meech, oh no. There's no way he's getting out of that one. He flashes, trashes, but guess who's there? It's Joey to get the shutdown.
It's a little unlucky that Joey gets it, but overall, big play from a big move. ADD not spotted means now the Herald goes down, but Lulu is with him to be able to push this lane even further, and it's just Immortals this time around, slowly chipping away at parts of CLG's side of the map. Exactly. And it means that now all that's left is this mid tier 1 turret, and Immortals can really start to push into this jungle and continue stacking Drakes.
And again, it didn't come off of like any crazy big plays, but it's just been some solid play from bottom lane, from mid lane, and in the combination of Chad being able to kind of dissuade Kevy in a lot of these situations. The back and forth of Meech and Wixie has been exactly what I've wanted to see, and it's delivered on every account. We continue to see the mechanical prowess of these two ADCs, the same class of ADCs, by the way, going at each other, and it's just been a bloodbath.
Yeah, Meech and Breezy been as good as advertised last year, maybe even better. And Wixie finding his way back to this level has been so big. For us who've been keeping an eye on these players, who thought Wixie did have it in him to be able to compete here. And it is a good thing to see him being able to hold his own, being able to perform some of those highs we've seen so far. And I mean, you look at Immortals' record, things didn't go so well with them early on because of visa issues with Bolulu. Chad even says as much. I think his exact words were, honestly, our standing is pretty troll compared to our team's strength. And given the good games they've had against top teams, I'm inclined to agree with him.
I would say so. It's been an interesting development, to say the least. Now, I do want to see if we get this side lane focus from ADD, what the response really is from CLG, as Jenkins on his way down there saying, I guess I got to go deal with ADD somehow. And I think that's going to be the next hardest question for CLG, because if you start having to commit multiple members to ADD, that just leaves so much on the table for IMT, and you know Chad will utilize that so well.
Especially with the Dragon stacking in Immortals' favor now, because now they're able to keep this constant pressure bottom as they have ADD be the one to keep pushing bot side. And now they can rotate mid, take down this mid tier 1, and really start to push their pressure across the map, because they lost all of their tier 1s except the bottom one. So CLG have that easier time being able to push into Immortals jungle. Immortals want that for themselves.
A little bit of quiet on the rift, but I do see that Wixie has 2 items now. They're trying to use a little bit of an engage. Oh no, Joey. I don't know if that's where you wanted to go. Joey flashes, does get out with a smidgen of health.
You gotta love the Zyricon being able to battle dance from a greater distance is definitely helpful for playmaking, but also stuff like that, being able to walk away. And I honestly, all out of the picture, 30 seconds till the next dragon, that's as good as Immortals. They should be able to secure that one, especially with the fact that they're the ones in the lead. Jenkins has teleported back, but still that crucial ultimate not in the picture.
See, actually, Chad moving down this way as well. Copy does connect that chain. You guys have a lot of damage back, but Lulu wants it, though. Joey's coming to help him out. Copy, you took a little bit more than you could handle. He does flash, but Lulu can't catch him.
Oh, nice!
Lulu, he takes out Copy.
Really nicely done. Good commitment from the flash, and the use of that exhaust means his teleport's back in the picture. But Dragon was what they're setting up for, but now the lead they have, Baron is certainly on the table here. Wixie is walking up, and a lot of key ultimates are still available here for the side of Immortals. They have to play for the turn and burn, though. Joey is going to be watching for this engage.
ADD is going to start melting it. Wixie will start melting it, but that's the turn that they needed. Chad goes in with the engage. They can't.
Oh, the charm is perfect.
Is down, but Lulu is putting on the carry pants in this mid game, and this is huge for IMT, as they are almost 2,000 gold up. But it's been these decisive moments that have helped them find these leads.
Man, I hope we see it in the replay, because that was really nicely done from Chad and the whole team of Immortals. That call doesn't get you the dragon, it doesn't get you the Baron either, but it's more gold, which is something to be very happy about. And with Kevy still on the gray screen, the dragon is available to them now. You can see Chad, Joey walking down here to try and get it started.
What a kind of heads-up play from Bolulu, but it's been a heads-up season so far, it feels like, from Bolulu, the new mid laner for IMT. And
yeah,
I've really enjoyed getting to hear from him in the interviews as well, just kind of hearing a little bit of that wholesomeness, but also the spice, knowing that he is damn good. He can flex those muscles a little bit. I know he had very much looked forward going against Jimenez, but now going against Copy as well. These kinds of matchups are so crucial to kind of establish yourself in the challenger scene, because you have some mainstays that are at the top of the table, and Copy is one of those.
That's right, and I think Bolulu's been doing a really good job establishing himself as the top of the table here at the mainstay. Maybe not the best, but if you really look at mid laners, given the last couple of weeks, Bolulu is definitely in that conversation now, and he's also in the conversation for how fast can we kill Copy.
Somebody's going to kill Copy. It's just a matter of who gets the gold. He's going to dash a little bit, try to get that the Hex Gates, but there's the cease and desist to lock him down. Gold should go over to Wixie if they can handle.
Oh, wait, what?
No way. They're going to chase him down. In Chad, get him. He's going to try and get him. Oh, my God.
He's out of there.
Copy with the great escape, and my God, what a play.
Well, it's looking like the answer is no one. No one's going to be able to kill Copy. Really nicely done. Great escape. You get a lot of ults out in the process. It's cool. And now it doesn't change the fact that Immortals are ahead, but it's definitely that mental damage, mental battle that is always going on in League of Legends, and that's a point in CLG's favor. And overall, you just kind of bring it back to the rest of the map and how everything is going. Baron is still what both of these teams are keeping an eye on, especially because that dragon was secured. That's why you're seeing a little bit of deep vision placed for the side of Immortals. But it's a little tough because guess what? That mid turret is still alive. CLG have committed so much to keeping it in the picture, making it so that when you shove that mid wave in, Mazel, you don't have much time to be able to set down your vision. You got to go back and answer.
The answers, though, man. The answers. What do they mean? It's not the numbers anymore.
I was going to say.
It is still, though, IMT looking for those heads-up moments again. Trying to find that pick onto Breezy. Does get a decent amount of damage back to Saplings, though, returning in kind. As IMT were willing to kind of start this Baron up to contest it over the fights and do these kind of switch arounds. And it's made CLG play a little bit uneasy.
A little bit. We're still seeing Copy push pretty hard on that top side. That extra bit of Bryo there will be able to allow, you see Breezy's already on the move, covering this time after everything that's happened before, is going to be able to set up vision as well, because this Baron is still the biggest thing on everybody's minds. Ensuring that IMT can't just start it without you having an inkling is very important. And now, though,
they're going in as Chad has overstayed a little bit. I don't think he expected there to be that many members there. And they also had Wixie and Joey on the backside, but he goes down so fast. Now
Teleport.
the TP plays and Wixie has cleaned up Breezy. Oh, big knock into the wall, though. Jenkins gets ADD all out. I don't know if that's the one he wanted, but they go back in. And ADD, those are fighting words, but he's fighting dead. As big pickups across the bow for Copy.
And this time, even though Immortals were finding all these plays, Chad goes a little too deep. Even though you lose the support, top jungle are gone for Immortals. And it means that Baron could have been on the cards, but CLG actually don't want to chance it. Wait a minute.
He's tanking it up here. You have Copy on the side. Is Copy about to just clean up more kills?
Wixie.
We got Wixie with one, but Copy gets one. Jenkins gets the other. Balulu has got one last Spirit Rush with Chad behind him. They get one back, though. Jenkins flashed on by Chad. And now Balulu with that extra Spirit Rush wants to chase down Copy. Copy gets that chain down. He's not able to land the charm. It's just the trades back, and it's a ruthless battle between these two.
These teams are just brawling it out at the moment, Mazel, and we can just see how they're honestly really close to each other in terms of gold. An 800 gold difference separates these two teams overall. Chad looking to minimize that as much as he possibly can. And the big thing here is, again, they've been constantly looking for plays into side against Copy, and now Breezy's here, and Chad thinks, oh, hey, we gotta kill this guy. But Kevy was also waiting in the wings, also in the area expecting this. And as soon as you lose one of your big playmakers in Chad, this team fight gets a lot harder. Even with the slip up, you wanna ult AD Wixie, not ADD, but he's still in a position where he's gonna be able to just keep on fighting.
And just the turnaround there, I think, was so crucial. But it's the fight back. It's that grit. And especially for Wixie, going to move forward a little bit there, but able to find and pull back a kill within it all.
The crazy thing is, like, this fight keeps going. Balulu manages to help, with the help of Chad, get one more kill. But ultimately, everybody walks away with a little bit of what they want. And that's the funniest thing about all this, Letta. There's so much fighting, and nobody is particularly ahead as a result of it. And it just means that it's still going to keep coming down to execution. Immortals going to keep looking for those plays with Chad, even though that one doesn't work. And it's like Somerset in game one. That's the cool thing about Chad. Even if the plays don't work, even if they fall behind, he's going to keep on looking like the Chad that he is.
Oh, Balulu just burn that barrier there just to make sure no damage was going to follow up after that one, but he's going to need to back after that. And CLG with a little bit of a forward push coming out of mid lane.
Yeah, there's an angle. You're tracking. You know teleport isn't available. Oh, it is for Balulu, actually. So never mind. He's just going to be able to teleport. Nothing is really happening except for the dragon on the map. And that's the big thing here, because it will be soul point for Immortals. You don't want to let that go as CLG. And that's why they're being careful about it. That's why Copy is looking for these angles like you should on LeBlanc. Not play front to back, try to go over terrain, and because nobody has really marked him, it can be very dangerous.
do want to see CLG kind of shore up some of these weaknesses, though, as they go in. They shored it up. ADD. He almost goes down. That's the Nature's Grass coming back out on the other side of it. Get tanked up by Chad there, but that should just be Dragon over to CLG, and that'll be 2-2 now. It's a very contested fight here as we're almost cresting 30 minutes into the game.
And this is a big deal. CLG, they buy themselves time with that pick, with this Dragon, because now you don't have to worry about the soul point. These next 5 minutes mean you can set all your attention on this top side and look for another pick like this that could lead you to picking up the Baron. But we're seeing what Copy is able to do this game, whether it's from the front, whether it's from the side. He's got 3 items and the death cap is one of them. Means that this LeBlanc, it doesn't matter who you are. Even ADD, who has the force of nature, is still susceptible to all that burst damage.
It's so much to deal with as well, and you just have the opt-ins here with some of the fights coming up being a little bit more important. That I'm really looking at third item completions, which we have at least for Copy. We're looking for Meech, but we do have for Wixie. And waiting on that Rabadon's death cap for Balulu there as well. And I would think that teams are really kind of waiting until those big spikes to take these next fights, especially since the Dragon just got switched up. And we're looking at a long win here. So I hope you're strapped in, Beatdown, ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I got my water. Realistically, that's all I actually need. I got my co-caster, Lennon, Mazel, White. Like, what else could I possibly need for a banger like this?
We just need more kills for Wixie and Meech.
Yo, actually true.
Of those back and forths.
Actually true.
It's been a lot of fun to watch so far, and I love that we are getting this bounce back from IMT. I will just say that first game, it was disheartening to say the least, where you still had that fight back, you still had some of that grit, but it was in no way, shape, or form any of control from IMTC. And this game has been the back and forth that we expected in this series coming into the day.
And this is what Chad's talking about when he says they have good track records so far to split against pretty good teams. They managed to split a game versus 100 Thieves, split a game versus TLC. And if you look at game 2 of their series against Cloud9 from last weekend, that game was in their hands for a while, and it was a long one, much like this. So this is just further proof that Immortals can really start to punch above, and we really got to start wondering if it is punching above their weight. Maybe this is just their weight class now.
Might just be they bulked up throughout the season. They're starting to hit in the right weight class here. But now, next movements are vision game around Baron here. And both teams just taking this very, very slow. So that means I do want to check in on the late game scaling conditions here for both sides, because we do have a lot of strength from the mid lane in terms of pick potential across both sides. But I think Xayah obviously... I guess what I've heard the saying is, or the wording is, Lucian scales into the game with skill, where I feel like definitely Xayah is one of those ADCs that you're just scaling no matter what. And I'm very much interested to see what they can utilize to capitalize as Chad actually makes it out.
Wow. Uses flash, but you get Jenkins to teleport, so him getting out of there is a big deal. Does he? If he goes down at this point, that's a Baron. And going back to what you say, like talking about how things will go late game, I'm worried for Immortals. CLG, you have a lot of long-range engage, and that's the biggest thing about it. And Copy is the big problem here. Of course, Meech and Breezy are so good on old reliable Lucian Nami, but we've seen examples time and time again that Copy is the player in this game who looks for these angles. And look at this. If he sees Chad, I'm pretty sure Chad will just die if he goes for the all-in.
Copy moving up, but he does. Chad finally sees the red shade that could be his doom, and does walk away. That's the Baron though burning down now as well from CLG. So big moves here, and Chad not in a position just yet. Capitalize on a steal, but he's coming around the corner.
Teleport.
TP coming from IMT. He's going into the pit. This is going to be a 50-50.
Oh, he steals it!
It's it! Just like his name says, and just like the rest of his team, the Chads have hit the rift, and IMT are forcing CLG to run away as Balulu moves forward. That sapling does equalize things a little bit, but a big, big steal from Chad.
That plus the flank teleport from ADD was so impactful. So now Immortals get the upfront gold from the Baron. Immortals are the ones who find themselves in the lead. And now they have this opportunity to play for that soul point in 30 seconds time. It was so important. We talk about how Copy can be Immortals' doom, but ADD can be their savior this game, especially now that you really start to see the health come in. The resistance has come through. If Copy, yes, Copy can burst him and take a lot of health, but if he's not focusing him, ADD is free to run onto the backline, especially here, because look at Copy. He's trying to zone, get vision on Chad to try and help keep him out of the pit. Look at ADD on the backline here. He's waiting for his opportunity. And as soon as the Baron gets stolen, he says, oh, baby, it's my time to shine. He syncs up with Joey and Wixie, and the rest of it is just so easy.
And it's just a follow-up here as CLG running away. Good positioning to get that flank there, but Breezy and Meech just trying to wait out the side of the fight and able to really find that angle there. We did see the dragon was taken in the picture-in-picture here, so it'll be 3 dragons for IMTC. That Baron buff for another minute and 20 seconds. And they're just trying to continue to scoop up gold around the map. Not even really utilizing this Baron buff that much, as you see they're all in their jungle. But just trying to get this blue buff over to Balulu.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of checking boxes. You take the dragon, so they recall, spend gold, give the buffs to the right people and things like that. And now they start moving forward. Now they start trying to clear vision, just make space so that they want to keep control over this bottom side. Because, yeah, Baron and the next dragon will spawn at the same time. But this is the Hextech Soul we're talking about here. This is a big win con for Immortals. If they can secure this buff, they are in a really good position to close things out. Split the series here against CLG as they've done before against other teams. Right now, at least getting some value out of the Baron buff. You see Bolulu, ever mobile on the Ahri. Very comfortable in this 1v2 situation, pushing very deeply on the bottom side.
Siege has cometh. As they are pushing in 2 lanes, but the siege will be defended in the mid lane at least. The faith is strong. Defend the faith. That's what it is, right? It's not attack the faith. Defend the faith right now. I always forget the differences. I always forget the differences. Breezy. Oh, that was a quick flash though. Really nicely used. Nature's Grass though came out as an emergency response, and maybe that emergency response is just turning into an aggressive one as culling did come out.
Yeah, but no summoners really. You just
Lulu's in trouble.
Oh,
here.
hold on.
I mean, ADD's right around the corner. They don't have much health bars, and knockback here.
Oh, no ultimate.
ADD back, and a kill to Jenkins will equalize things here, and CLG will pull back on the win from IMTC.
Now that's a big deal. Nothing objective-wise is really going to come from it because there's nothing to play for, but they're actually going to all in on this mid lane here, even though the bottom wave is pushed in very deeply. Oh, they want more.
My God. We talked so much about Balulu stepping up here on the Ahri, but guess who's stepping up even bigger? It is Copy on CLG. He's not letting his name go quietly through the mouth of Balulu. That's 15 stacks on the Magi.
And at this rate, it's only going to get higher. You can't be trying to clear that wave. At this point, Copy is so strong. If your name is not ADD, you will instantly die when he goes in on you. And you have to respect that as Immortals. So this catch out means not only is one turret going down, this second one as well. And the inhibitor is surely next on the menu.
Really impressive stuff in a macro sense from CLG, pulling back a lot of the kind of chaos that IMT was utilizing in those situations, and really just calm, cool, collected stuff, especially as I just want to keep talking about Copy a little bit more, where he was saying he wanted to be that leader, and he is now in a leading position on the LeBlanc, and you've seen some of that calm, cool, collectedness from him. But the biggest thing for me is it feels like people have a tendency to forget Copy, even though this guy will not let you forget it once you go on him one-on-one, and I think Balulu will realize that now as well.
Yeah, Copy, like he said, just has to work harder, and he is showing the fruits of that labor, becoming that leader, that voice for CLG, showing it in his play, in the performances on the day. Had a great game on the Syndra, game 1 that we were praising very heavily, and is having just as fantastic a game on this LeBlanc, where again, just looking at how these teams want to be interacting, especially because we're 1 minute away from what could be Immortal Soul, is Copy is the decider. If Copy can get a pick, if Copy can get the angle, kind of like those attempts. If Copy fishes for something and something bites, that's it.
Yeah.
If you can get a pick, you don't have the same kind of burst damage on the side of Immortals. It is about DPS. It is about damage over time.
For sure.
But for CLG and Copy especially, even with Lucian Nami, it's burst damage. So if you blink, you might miss it and go to the gray screen.
Big thing for me as well is we are getting full items completed for these carries as well. Copy is on that full item streak. We also have Wixie as well, very closely behind because they have stopwatches in tow are Balulu and Meech themselves. So this next fight, they might even want to just kind of belay this one if they don't find a good position of it and wait for this final soul fight.
Very possible, especially because Baron is up. Immortals could just very well push this mid wave and run straight to the Baron. The thing about this LeBlanc is that you want setup. You want the opportunity to clear vision and come at an angle they're not expecting. If you just rush to the Baron, you have to walk into Immortals, and that is what they want to happen. Look at the minimap. Look at Chad. They're baiting the Baron, and it's about him trying to get on top of Meech. That's the target.
Here we go. Copy's on the side. He doesn't see Chad behind him. This is a perfect setup as the Baron goes
Oh, they don't know.
They're in a little bit of trouble here, though. Kevy wants to go over the wall. Chad has been spotted out. Chad, you gotta bail out. Bail
what?
Out, man. Oh, no! The ship has gone down in IMT. They're about to get routed by the roots of CLG, and the faith strikes deep. Balulu will strike back, though, with one of his own. Shutdown going over. Copy is out of the fight, and now ADD, he's chunking him down, and ADD,
he's running rampant.
Access, baby, as a double kill for the top laner of IMT, and a flash from Breezy gets him out alive, but that's IMT immediately on the top side of the map.
That is so big. With the Baron buff, you can knock the base open. We're talking 40 seconds on Kevy, Copy, and Meech. They could push to end the game right now. 40 minutes. A clutch fight even after Chad falls could still spell the end for CLG.
They're on to the Nexus Towers now. Jenkins and Breezy, the only thing standing.
Oh my God.
Between IMT's attack of the faith, and they want to equalize. Chad says, do you, boo-boo, but you ain't gonna win both games today. And IMT, they pull it back from the brink and even it up 1-1.
Oh my God, they made it happen, Mazel, and it ended up being CLG who was their own downfall. They thought they had the angle when Chad got caught and blown out, but they forgot about the Olaf, they forgot about the Viking, and because it was basically Copy versus ADD in the last fight, ADD was able to do more.
Incredible stuff from the bounce back of IMTC, as that record will be reflective of that. But we're going to take a little break while we do get ready for Smax's interview with IMTC, so don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody. We are back with the victorious jungler of the second game here, Immortals Progressive Challengers jungler Chad. We got you after a really close series. It was neck and neck. That last game went over 40 minutes. But I want to take it back to the very, very beginning, first of all, where we saw Kevy. He went for this really invasive clear against you on this Maokai, and then in the second game, he literally did the exact same thing, but we saw you took a different approach to the very beginning of it by clearing the blue buff earlier on in your path. What was going through your mind, like seeing him go for the same thing, and what led to this major path adaptation for the second game?
Well, I'd say going into the first game, I knew that they get mid prio, and I knew that they get bot prio. Usually when you have mid and bot prio, you always play for an invade line on the bot side. But I don't really respect Kevy that much of a player or a jungler, so I was like, I want to go for a greedy path. There's no way he actually invades me. and I guess he got a lot better because he went for the correct invade line, and I got punished for it. But so going into game 2, I was like, all right, well, I'll give you the props. I'll actually play correctly now, and it won't work, and it didn't work. So
Makes sense to me. You've played against Kevy now in this league a few times, last split as well as this one. And we heard from you, I believe you spoke with Beatdown before about how you've got a pretty solid track record against CLG. Is that where your maybe a bit of disrespect comes against Kevy from your last split experience?
I wouldn't say it's from that. I'd say I have a decent amount of friends and amateur junglers who I think are pretty good and deserve to be in the academy. Some names off the top of my head would be like Perry, Winston, even someone like Will, right? Obviously, even Armel's not on the team, right? All 4 of those junglers, I think, deserve a spot. And it's not that I have any personal beef with Kevy. I see him, and I think it should be one of those 4, right? But I'd say in last year, I always had a positive track record against CLG. We knocked them out of PG in both spring and summer. So I think going to the series, I just wanted to make sure to win, and so they remember I'm their kryptonite.
Very nice. Yeah, I always love hearing other players build up people in the space as well. And I know you are someone who sometimes goes out of your way to seek out opinions of some people, like some power rankings and that sort of things, gauging public discourse. What draws you to actively seeking that out? Because that's not really something that a lot of players do. And how does that really affect how you see the people in the league?
I'd say it's it's always fun to spice things up. I think everyone or most people in the academy are friends with each other, and I know a lot of people, but I think putting some banter into it and making it more interesting is always fun. I also think that I'm a player, in my opinion, who I have really high highs, and then I have some other times. So my high highs, I think I get a lot of confidence, and I want people to know about it, because when I am playing at my peak, these other junglers they get a little frantic. They don't know what to do. So I just like to remind them that I might be playing bad right now, but a lot of junglers have bad memories of what I could do to them level 1. So
yeah. Well, I know you love to remind me as well every time I put you lower on a tier list or a power ranking or something. You always throw the number back at me. So I want to know, like, you spoke a bit about like how you like the banter of it all, but like, do you think any of that affects your mindset in the game or like your gameplay at all? And if so, like, what does that look like for you?
For me, I think I always. It's a double-edged sword, right? When I go into series thinking I'm so much better than enemy jungler, they're so bad, I might play really well, and I'm playing with a lot of confidence, and I'll play to punish them. Or like today, game 1, I thought, oh, this guy is so bad, he won't do the correct path, and he did the correct path, and I got punished, right? So it goes both ways. Sometimes you play worse because you underestimate them, and sometimes you play better because you think you're overestimating yourself, right? So can't really say, but it goes both ways.
Yeah, makes sense to me. We heard from Beatdown as well about how you had a bit of an update with him about how you're feeling about your team synergy, specifically with Balulu in the mid lane now that he is just in full swing. He had the visa issues before. I want you to give me like a progress bar update on where your synergy level is mid jungle specifically. Are you at like a 30 out of 100? Like you're all the way up to a 60 already? How much room is there to grow, and where are you at right now?
I couldn't really put an exact number on it, where there's some aspects of the game where we're 10 out of 10, and there's some aspects where we're still like trying to figure it out. I think it's really interesting that between me and Balulu, because we do see things a little bit differently, but not in a bad way, right? I think if we saw things in the exact same way, there would be no opportunity to be creative or look for his plays or my plays. So I think we're gaining synergy as the weeks of scrims go by, and we definitely share opinions on how things should be played. And sometimes in scrims, I do something wrong and he's not afraid to tell me, and then I get to improve off it. And sometimes I tell him, oh, I want to look for fights here. So I think we're learning off each other, and we're just kind of trying to get used to it. And it's been going really well.
It's really good to hear. On that progress level for you in this regular season, you've got, I believe, 5 more matches after this one. How much do these regular season games mean to you? The wins, the losses, any of those? And because I know you're a player who has a lot of playoff results to back up the confidence that you so clearly have a lot of the time. Yeah, tell me about like the way that these games impact you and your team as well.
I'd say for regular season, IMT has never done really well or cared too much. Last year, I think we got like 6th or 8th or 5th, something regular season, and then we always make it last split. Spring we made top 4, and then summer we made top 5, and both splits we were 1 game away from going farther, right? I still remember we were the only team that brought TL to game 5 games, but I'd say the way I see it personally is I think the regular season should be used to improve, right? It's not about optimizing or winning every match. It's about letting yourself make mistakes so you know what to improve off of, and just limit testing a lot and just trying to mesh with the team as well as possible. And then playoffs is when you actually care about winning, right? I think both splits last year and this year, going to the regular season, we're just playing the game and seeing how stagers feel, seeing how drafts feel, seeing how we want to engage or not engage, right? And then in playoffs, it's just, oh no, we're gonna play to win now. And now that we're playing to win, you guys have no chance. So regular season's for improving, loses improve. Playoffs is play to win.
All right. Well, it sounds like today you did a little bit of winning and improving then, as you got the 1-1. Congrats again on the Game 2 win. Any final words you want to give before we throw to a break?
Yeah, shout out all 4 players on my team for carrying me today. Today was not a good day. I got a Baron steal, which I feel pretty good about because it was pixel perfect, and I was getting Cassante ulted out of the Baron pit. But all 4 of my teammates hard carried me, and they paid the last team fight 4v5 because I'm a dirty enter. And so thank you for all 4 teammates, and thank you for James GM and Robert Yip coach. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chad. Always good to catch up. And yeah, good luck in your games for the rest of the regular season. Looking forward to them.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. For all of you else out there watching right now, stay tuned. We have one more series left on the day. It'll be AOE Gold taking on Cloud9 Challengers in just a little bit.